Good morning, everybody. I'm Lisa Stone with Parenting Aces, and it's a gorgeous Sunday morning here in SoCal. I am going to bring today's live stream guest, Goran Novakovic, on the screen. Hang on one second. Goran, good morning.
Good morning to you, or good evening from our place.
Yeah. So I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's not great. Let me see if I can, it may be on my end. So hang on one second.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you're hearing me now better.
I am hearing you much better. Thank you so much. It was on my
Great.
end. I have a wonky mic cord that sometimes doesn't really cooperate. So now we're all good. But I'm so thrilled we were able to make this happen. It's always a little tricky to have a guest that is in a way different time zone than I am. So thank you for accommodating the West Coast schedule for your Netherlands schedule.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the 10 Pro Global Junior Tour. And this is a group of tournaments that you established, I think, back in 2017. And is that right?
We started much many years ago. Before that, it was first national group of the tournaments in a Benelux system, which is Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, and 2012 or 13.
Okay.
And then from 2015, actually, we started to go the worldwide to make a global tour. And because this kind of things doesn't exist in those days, but even not now existing, we are completely unique what we're doing.
Yes.
And it still is a case. So from that 2015 until now it was just amazing journey, and it was happens from one to another day to grow like incredible. And we went from all the biggest. In a moment, we are in position of all the biggest academy worldwide they are existing. I mean, all of them.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm going to just pull up because I have the mission of the tournaments that I've taken off your website, and people can see it here. What I think is so interesting is you saw a gap in the marketplace for international competition for junior players. And we know about the ITF Junior Tour, but you wanted players even younger to be able to compete on a worldwide stage. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was actually three reasons. The first reason, I have my own son. He was in that age a top player. He still is a top player ITF in the moment, and those days was a junior players. And we faced that we cannot go further than that just a simple tournament that you go on abroad and you compete with the locals, let's say from these countries. And if somebody go once or twice per year far away, that will be that happens not so often. And there's a first point. Second point is it was nothing to find in that particular age, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. From 13, 14 on, it was much easier, but not to that age. That's the second point. And third point, we already had a marketing company, Contacts in Tennis Worlds, working with the Wilson Internationals and so on and so on. So we had all tools to make it happen. And so we decided to give it a shot and to don't go normal path just to create something what is unique. We thought so, and we changed a few things in the process. And one of the most important things is that you are guaranteed that 4 or 8 matches when you travel so far to play, and you guaranteed always in your own level. That's the most important things, whatever your tennis level is, because in those age you doesn't exist a world ranking list, so you cannot know is somebody from United States number 1 or 2, how you can compete with the number 1 from Italy or number 1 from India, or you name it. So basically we created a system that when you travel from far away, and doesn't matter where you travel to the point, and then you know exactly everything. You know from day one when you stay, you know how long you stay, you know how many matches you play, you know that you're guaranteed always number in your own level matches. So you're winning, you're losing, and end of the day, it was booming. And then happens that it's growing from 1 year from 300 players in a year to 3,000 players in a year,
Wow.
and it happens from first 4 or 5 countries to 135 countries in a moment, and it's like everywhere, from all the continents, from everywhere. And then when we saw that, then we spent that to the worldwide academies like IMG in the United States, so Sanchez Cazal in the Floridas, but at the same time Rafa Nadal's or Novak Djokovic or Kim Clijsters or Paris or Tokyo Olympics or Melbourne or you name it.
Yeah. So I want to just say to those of you watching, if you have questions, please go ahead and type them in the comments and we will address them while we've got Goran online with us. But Goran, I wanted to just ask you, it could be argued that traveling internationally for an 8, 9, 10-year-old is unnecessary, that they can find, valuable competition staying close to home, not spending the money, not having the parents take time away from their jobs to travel. What do you say to that argument?
Now, basically, there are two answers. First answer is that that's the case if you're not such a exceptional talented player. So if you are a talented player worldwide, that's not the case. That everybody know that from all the high-level coaches or high-level expectation families with the players, actually, they know that they need to have the see another side of the story because they are good and best in their own regions. They are best in their own countries, particularly, and they thinking that they reach something, but they doesn't know what existing there. And so that's there is something what we bring into them. So that's the first time that they understand. Okay, I'm doing well, but not so well. I thought so. So then they make the necessary changes or adoption of the trainings and many things. That's the first things. The second things is indeed all these necessary costs that you call it is that's the one of the reasons why we put a package that they, even a year before, like now, you can register that in 12 months ahead for a tournament which is your with exactly when you stay there your 7 days. In every another tournament worldwide until this very moment is you go, you travel, you take the risks, you play the one match, you are out. Maybe just in some tournaments you have the double or consolation draw, so you are 1 or 2 days there. But basically, after that 48 hours or 72 hours, it's like 75% is gone. So so nobody take that risks, and nobody spends so much money, and nobody knows. So basically, you don't have a track and trace between that age. And the most important things is when you reach already 13, 14, 15, and you go further, you are already developed in some way for sponsors, for yourselves, for a team, for everything. So it was just 1-on-1 is 2. It's just something what is needed.
So are you looking to attract players who have the goal of being professional tennis players?
We have the system that is one of the points that we created is not only the tournament has biggest tools, of course, and most successful on the 10 Pro, but we also having a 10 Pro coaching or scouting system, which we travel and helping many of them. Even those days we have the ranking system, which is again unique, is score your points and earn your rewards. So that means it's the first time that your points are back up with a value. We don't competing with anybody, but we just helping that in a process of the beginning to be the pro players. So, or is that you can think about sponsorship contracts. You can think about it going to worldwide academy through trainings. You can think of many different things, materials, by example. So everything what is needed to develop junior players, it's what we want to provide it.
Okay. And you talked about when these players come to your events that they're playing at their level. How is the level determined?
The level of the tournament we play always by born age. So that means if you are, example, born 2009, you play with the born 2009 this year.
Okay.
However, you have the two options. That's also again unique. It's if you have the two choices. First choice is to play your own age. That will be one category. It means 4 guaranteed matches in the tournament. Or you play 2 categories. That's something like 99% of the players playing. And in that case, again, if it's somebody born 2009, they will be playing 2009 and 2008 born, so one ahead. And so that means you're also having challenge and to be best in your category. So the both sides is there, and that's the basically story.
Okay, so it's all done by birth year, but are you using any metric like ITF ranking or UTR or some other number to group players?
Of course, we are apart from UTR since day one, actually.
Okay.
But even a UTR doesn't have the knowledge to track and trace the players in that age. And so basically, we developed some kind of system. We call it 18-point rules. It goes way beyond the logical explanation, let's say, because we traveled, we measured how much players having in their own position. So that means tournaments, that means results, that means potential, that means it's sort of scouting scalp, let's say. And but this is still internal. So end of the day, we are not seeded players in this way. We just keep it for our internal measuring, later use it for something else. And but level of the players, it's as simple as this. It's if you are under the 10, 11, and 12, they are best in the world. That's no issue about it. It's I can give you many examples on it. I believe 80-90% of our players to go through our series winning everything those days, but existing from Eddie Hare, Orange Bowl, juniors and Grand Slams, and I can name it, European Championships until national teams. So they are winning actually everything because we know who they are. And in that age, they are the best ones. The last 2 categories, like 14 and 15, they are different story. They are in the middle, let's say. Sometimes the good one, best ones, sometimes in the middle one. But it was developed that you have the whole package. When you have the whole package, it means that helping give you an example. You have the small club in California, which have the 1 or 2 talentful players. And we have the now coming tournament in Kim Clijsters, first one after the pandemic in the 9 of August, starting next month.
Right.
So, and if that club from California just hesitating, should we go or not, because it's quite expensive, and it's a trip where we have 1 or 2 players, but they having also 1 player in 14, 1 player in 15, or 1 girl in 14. So they having the team then. When they're having the team, the chances increase incredibly that they can travel, because they can share and do a lot of things. And that is the same things with national teams, same things with the big tennis academies, same things with everybody actually those days. So that's why we created until the 15, and it's still until 15, which we know that the hardest and biggest and best competition is actually under the 12. So 10, 11, and 12.
Got it. What is the pandemic doing to the 10 Pro Global Junior Tour? Because we know some countries are not allowing Americans to travel into their countries right now. We're not doing so well with COVID-19 here.
No, well, I suppose I will say is doing the same like with everybody else, unfortunately. And but again, we are doing exactly the same like we always do. We are never sitting still. So first answer to us in a few months ago when we unfortunately canceled a few tournaments, which was Olympics in a Tokyo example, or some of them needed to be gone because of the pandemics, is we are created a virtual tour. So we had 2 tournaments with us online.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it was getting again a 10 Pro principle. Don't sit, just do it. Like Nike says. So basically, we created, because it was no place in the world that you can even touch the racket. Besides, you just doing some kind of famous players doing like some kind of demo or
challenges.
Yeah. So instead of challenges, we created online tournament. So it was you need to go to our social media to see. It was played on a social media, and it was some kind of tournament. It was really tournament. It it was twice more work than a normal tournament, but it was like it was a tournament. So we had them 2 of them. Hopefully never more. I mean, it's great experience, but now we see that pandemics is in Europe is much better than the States at the moment, and then we started. We have the 2 in a row in August. Kim Kleisters, 9 of them starting 9th of August, and Paris West Academy starting in 15th. So 2 weeks after each other in a row. So basically, pandemics damaged at some point, but again, there are good and bad things about that. Everybody know what is the bad things, and but good things is that after that, twice more players want to play it because it's like nothing else to do. And we are still first tournament they are going to play international in the juniors.
Yeah, the ITF juniors are still on hold, right?
Yeah.
There are no tournaments on the calendar right now. So interestingly, World Team Tennis started today here in the States, and it's another event where there are fans allowed in the stands, and they have a whole list of safety protocols they're taking due to COVID-19. What are you looking at in terms of safety protocols, and are you looking at some of these pro events, exhibitions, and World Team Tennis and such to help guide you as to what's appropriate to offer at your tournaments?
Basically, it's like I mentioned before, we are cooperating with the biggest and leading academies in the world, and not only the junior world, but in the tennis world. And so that means we are on a front page with them on the everything. Those days, even today, play at top 10. Gasquet was top 20 against Berrettini, top 10 player. They just played at Muratoglu Tennis Academy, which we are from day one partners. And so basically, it's first worldwide tournament was even happened in Germany in May. It was in cooperation with a base tennis academy. It was also a part of day one. So basically, we exactly know Novak, unfortunately, done his Adriatic tour in another way in the Serbian, but it was also one of the locations where we go with our tournaments. So yes, answer is in question. We take it very seriously because the safety is number one priority everywhere, especially if you are with the kids and juniors and so we taking maybe even too many measurings from safety part everywhere is a measuring, but good things about it is that tennis is a sport that you can still do it because you are so much separated. It's so different action, so big location outside. It's all these things make it easier actually. So you do it all kind of safety constructions, but still is playable. And finally, what you said about the United States, we have like 6-7 players from the United States coming in tournament in August. Don't ask me how they find the flights or how I hear different stories and how that looks like, but they are coming.
I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of stuff, and I don't know if you're aware of what's going on with college tennis here in the States and college sports in general, but our international players are having trouble getting back to the States to play. And so there's a lot of conversation going on around bypassing and flying here and there and getting your visa, and it's very complicated. It makes me a little nervous that people are trying to bypass these safety measures that are put in place to keep everybody healthy. But at the same time, some of the measures are a little restrictive and maybe unnecessarily so. I don't know. I'm not a health person. I'm not a scientist. I just read a lot and listen a lot. But let's kind of move on past the pandemic stuff. And one of the things that appeals to me so much about your events is the fact that during your events, the players are allowed to have coaching during their matches. And this is a feature that I've been arguing for a long time in junior tennis here in the US. It seems to me kind of ridiculous that at the youngest levels of the sport, we don't allow coaching, but yet when they get to college or some of the pro events, they do get to have coaching. That it seems backwards to me, and obviously to you as well, because you're incorporating that on-court coaching in your play.
you get in the point. It is two answers. First answer is that we always, from day one, when we created something, we want to be the highest level the existing. So that means this whole tournaments is a day and is existing, and a part of the biggest success is the big part is because we are like small Grand Slam juniors, example. And when I say Grand Slam juniors, I meaning from everything, from year ahead, from preparing the players, hotels, flights options, possibility of the flying, possibility of the training, adapted of the clay or European surfaces or another way around, until the accreditation cards, the national items, you're representing the country. I mean, you name it, it's a Grand Slam from them. So they experienced for the first time really what it is. And the second part is that exactly it was a big argue always, which I was always the part on it, that if you are good junior, now is the time to learn. And because it's not after you are 16, 17, 18, or you develop something, then you get a coach on the side when you play.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. You should be ready much like before. And what is the better way to do it? Just coaching and court like that in this age is no better tool. And I can give you one thing, and I am sure that happens in the United States a lot. Before we added that one, we had a 1 year without coaching a court first year, and we saw that that's not the way to do it. And we had like 90% during the games. Everybody go to toilet. Everybody go to the somewhere. Okay. So we added everybody is tired or need to whatever reason is, and then we added coaching on court.
Right.
Believe me, it's one per tournament.
Right.
It's never more. It's so all kind of things that it was not unnecessary. And then is also one big point is the parents it's not a process only on the kids. It's also parents those days process of the coaches and parents as well. And so that means they are high intention because they're flying from far away. They invest in the money. They see that players best on their own regions, but they doesn't know how that further is. So when you added coaching a court, that's it. That means they know they're getting their 2 minutes to explain everything. So they keep it quiet and they keep it enjoying the game and analyzing the game and doing all kind of things, not go to the emotional like they supposed to do all the time,
Right.
And so end of the day, we measure the is not success, but it's a double success actually.
Right. And another really unique piece of what you do is that you do offer opportunities for the parents to get education during your events, right?
Yes, that's correct. But this is the part of that we are very lucky and deserve it, obviously, but very lucky to have the chance to work with all the biggest guys that are existing, from Nick Bollettieri in the United States until Tony Nadal and Rafa's here, or for Patrick Mouratoglou, or all these guys are one big experience project.
Yeah.
Better than that you doesn't get. So then we thought this is the unique chance when the parents are arriving there and young coaches and everybody, that is not only to play the tournament, which is highest level for the players, but is also highest level for them to develop themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that works really good, really, really good, because we have the different seminars, we have the junior tournaments clinics, we have different approaches, and after that we still are a whole year in contact with them. So that doesn't mean that if you come to the one of the tournament that you are end of the day. No, is you still being a part of the program and in connections. So it's many of them are or Finnish. We know many players from United States, they are even moved to Europe because of that, or another way around. Some of them go to States, particularly a few weeks ago it was to IMG, some of the cases. So it was really successful things. Mm-hmm. And it still is, and I believe this is the one of the very nice features of the tournament, because everybody has something to do.
Right. How do you choose who gets to participate in an event? Can just anybody sign up and play?
everybody can sign up. That's the open, because of the one things we have, like I said, almost 140 countries, and that was impossible to high level at countries like Kiribati, Nepal, Fuji, Mauritius, all these islands. We have them all, and this is the one of the charm of the tournament, that they have the chance as well. So you cannot put them there on the same level playing most of the time, but they having the same chance. So basically what we thought, instead of to make it part who can play, who cannot play, we make it part inside. We said in a way of you can do two things, or you can calculate who can play, who cannot play based off the different things, or national results or different things, or you can base that of the system that you make it. So we choose for a second one. We make the system that during the tournaments you always fall to play in your own level. So that means it doesn't matter from where you are, doesn't matter how you seated or you're not seated. It's simply draw is make it like this. It's like a normal tournament. Only 4 players doesn't know anything about it. There are players to go to semifinals and finals later, because the finals is finals and losing semifinals is third, fourth place. So these 4 players doesn't know anything about anything. They play like every other Grand Slam. Everybody else at some point lose. Third round, second round, or somewhere. When they lose, they go another way around. And then they're facing the players who lose the same level somewhere else in the draw.
So it's like a compass draw, sort of.
It's what we call the modificated compass. It's basically some kind of compass, but it's making that everybody play their own level. So at the end of the day, you have so many times finding the things is we put the cameras, because we also having the partner and play side, which is video technology leading, and we streaming the live matches and many different kind of things, and also for analyzing and everything. But we have most of the time not enough cameras, because we play like 9 of 1,000 matches per tournament, which is a lot. We play like between 180 and 200 matches per day. And so it's, of course, the cameras are always highlighted courts, which is finals. But the courts they are next to them, they are like losing, but they are battle same as the final, because the final they catching somebody who is the same level, and they fighting for everything there. So it is very nice to see, because everybody enjoying it and doing the best of this is exactly why we created that.
How big are your draws?
Well, sometimes it's 128, sometimes it's 64, many times is between 32 and 46 and 48. But the point is, this is the nice things about it as well, because of that system which I just a little bit explained. Is doesn't matter number. So that means all the standards 30, 16, 32, 48, 64, it doesn't apply anymore. So basically, if you are 53, it's playable. If it is 37, it's a playable. So any number that you can do is a playable, and that give us the freedom to choose the best players which we want to have.
So if somebody signs up to play an event, are they automatically entered, or no? They have to be selected.
They are not automatically automatic. They can send a registration form. They can fill it and copy. All this is basically very simple process, which you can find on websites or direct contact with one of our systems, and they send it to you. And but they are not automatically in the draw. So they need to go to the procedure, different kind of procedures of quality until age, because we have, like example, we have the now coming boy, which is youngest ever in our series, coming now in a Kim Kleist's boy from Lithuania. I can give you an example on that one. Boy coming from Lithuania. He is 8 years old, and which we are not allowed to play most of the time, but just want to see level. So then we see all kind of from video footage until the different kind of statistics, and he's just amazing. And so we are very happy that we gave him some special wild card, and he will be join us. And so we'll be seeing him live playing from that next month. But basically, it's a simple procedure that you apply, and then we try fast as possible to give you answer about it, to accept it, not accept it, or different.
Okay. So for somebody who is signing up for the first time, you would do a little research into the player, into their level, into their coaching to determine if they're a good fit for your events. Is that correct?
Basically, it's we need to keep a level on the standard of the play. So, so we cannot allow everybody who fill the form just go to play, even though that everybody can fill the form. And so, in some point, you don't want to make the difference, but at some point, you need to make a difference. So basically, everybody can register and send it, and then we make it indeed our tools and the work, which is information from the national levels, information for the coach, information for the clubs, necessary video if it is necessary, and many different tools.
And the reason I'm asking, Goran, is because, in my mind, I'm thinking parents would be watching this and they're thinking, oh, we're planning a trip to, let's say, Paris. And, oh, there's going to be a 10 Pro event at Mortagalu while we're there. Let's go ahead and sign our child up. We'll make a family vacation out of this. Our child will play in this tennis tournament. But there's no guarantee that the child's going to get accepted into the draw.
No, there is no guarantee on the accepted draw besides the one things, because we know how important of the everybody is to get very fast answers. So basically, our rules is always to be as fast as possible. Most of the time, it was before our first years. Our internal company rule was 24 hours.
Wow.
And it was really very fast. But that was possible when we had the 50, 60 countries. It was still possible. And the moment that we switched to the 130 countries is now at least 2 or 3 days. Okay. But still, in many cases, in many cases, it's still 24 hours. So we try to keep it 24 hours as much as possible. And so basically, end of the day, even if you are that kind of things existing a lot when you want to travel, of course you want to see the Paris and you want to see the rest of the nice things. So it's not, especially if you are that age, of course, and maybe you want to train there as well to many different things. So we cannot tell you yes, you can do it, because basically then you can allow everybody to have hits twice the ball, So it's not possible, but we can promise you that you have between 1 and 3 days answer.
Yeah.
So that means that's
so you can still plan ahead. You can still plan ahead.
So you can still plan ahead, and if I'm not accepted. And most of the time, to be honest, is our experience is I need to go way back to see that ever happens in those ways, because it's always the people who apply for this kind of competition. They are people for that competition. So I think we never get the case that misuse that, whatever, trying to misuse or do it. So basically, it was always happens like this. And we have those days, we have like 7,000-8,000 per year.
Wow. Another unique feature of most of your events, if not all, and I haven't researched all of them, but I have for some of them, is that oftentimes there's a training week prior to the start of competition at the academy that's hosting the event. And so it's an incredible opportunity for these young players to come together with their peers from around the world in a training environment before they're thrust into that competition environment. Why did you feel that was an important thing to include?
Now, there are 3 answers on that one. First answer is that go back to the formula of the Grand Slam. So we created also so-called document, this information package, which we always, almost all of them, besides when you have the tricky 2 tournaments or 3 tournaments in a row, then it's that tricky to have the camp before, because you have the tournament before.
Sure.
But in normal circumstances, like 99% of them, 100% of them, we have trainings week before or a few days before, or camp. You have it during even, and you have after, because that we make it all the measures for players they needs. Second things, what is very, very important, I mentioned before, when you go to any another tournament worldwide in this moment, when you arrive, you don't know do you winning or losing, of course. So your chance to go 24 hours back is 50-50.
Right.
Or maybe you have the consolation, or you have, okay, then you can survive one more round, but you still 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
By saying 50-50, you don't know about booking hotels.
Right.
You don't know about booking the flights, and you don't know anything actually.
Yeah.
And also you're putting the pressure a lot.
Right.
Which in
Well,
this
and
age,
you can't budget. Financially, it's tough to budget.
financially, but you put so many pressure on the players that you destroyed his game, because the father says, if we lose, we fly.
Yeah.
And that's happened. And when he need to fly, instead of 450 euros a flight from Europe return to Miami, they pay 2,500. So
Yeah.
they never coming more and again. So basically, all these things to take it out, we put for them everything and ahead, and that means that they're having everything completed. Now, one thing what we never thought, it actually happens. After all, we saw that it's the greatest about all of them, because when you have the first first 1 or 2 3 days, you are new, enormous pressure on the players, on the parents as well, or a budget or everything, and you don't know anything. You don't know location, so you know your France. You don't language. You don't know, do you need that taxi or that one, or walking, or you don't know which hotel you should choose it, or you don't know anything. And but after the 3-4 days, you know everything, because you're used to it. To where is your restaurant, where is your, who is your neighbor, who is your new friend, and you are living in a hotel, like most of the time on the players hotel, which is like 90% of them using, not obligated, but they're using.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means it's become like a one big family. And after the day 3 or 4, you go to see the match of best friend because he trained this morning with you. You go there. After the tournament, you get the contact with them. You go the 1 week to Italy to exchange experience with him. He going to the United States to you. It happens all the time.
I love that.
So basically, the atmosphere of the tournament from day 3 until day 7, it's something that you never experience anywhere, because there is nothing to find. And then is, of course, the financial profits of that. Then is a marketing. There is sponsors. There is they want to be seen whole week. There is, everybody is just win-win in those situations.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so let's talk specifics.
Mm-hmm.
How do people sign up, and what is the cost to play in your events?
The people signing up by going to our website. This is the one of the things, but most use it. Going
Okay,
to our
website. I'm going to type it in the comments right now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have it pulled up. Okay, you keep talking. I'm going to pull it up.
Okay. So you go to our website. In our website, you find that all the tournaments by each other's, the year program. When you click on that program, you coming to that particular tournament, and then you have always on the left side menu which give you all the possibilities. And one of them is the registration formula. So you just download the forms, send it to us, and we take the rest contact with you in the next 24 or 48 hours. This is the one and the best way. Another ways are existing. It's a social media. It's those days is through the WhatsApp until WeChat and Chinese or Russians, or it's a different ways. But this is the most usual way.
Okay, and what is the cost? I'm sorry, I was typing while you were talking.
No, it's okay. So that was how you registered it.
Yep.
Our cost is 95 euros per each category, per each player.
Okay.
And so that means that's something around what will be 95 euros, about around $110 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Something about that, and that's a lot of things included there. So there is included accreditation, there's included discount in the hotels, which you getting twice more already back with than just pay it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're getting the package from our team, from our sponsors. So it's always materials worth at least that much money as well. So basically, it's idea was always how much you pay that you twice more get the advantage back through the different ways.
And if you're guaranteeing 4 matches at least, that's $25 a match. That's
25. That's $25 on a match with a player from your level, from different part of the country or different part of the world. And one of the things also in a draw is what is unofficial. It happens all the time. our internal rule is that you never play with a player in the same country. And so as long as we can avoid, sometimes it's impossible with all of them getting to semis or somewhere.
Sure.
But as long as we can avoid that, we always avoid it.
Yeah.
Because they're going to catch each other in their own country anyway.
Right.
Especially if they're good ones. So they want to see what happens beyond.
Yeah. And so is it singles only, or do you also offer doubles? Singles only.
It's only singles, and it's enough because basically everybody plays.
Yeah.
Everybody play 8 matches actually during the week. So that means it's every day 1 match, 1 week, 1 day 2 matches. That's the formula how it is separated. When it's 2 matches, then it's of course space between, big one, and normally it's a 1 day. During the tournament, we never, let's say this way. It's a very funny, but is it true? We never reached our deadline ever. So we are always before the deadline. We are fully booked, and sometimes it's a weeks, sometimes it's a months before. To give you an example, we have the Rafa Nadal tournament coming in November, which is like 5 months from now.
Yeah.
And these like 80% in this moment fall.
Wow.
And even with pandemic, and when I say 80%, I mean 300 players, because the 450 is the maximum that we can have. And so that kind of numbers. And when you play with the 450 players, you play 970 matches.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. And so
plan ahead is what you're saying. Don't wait till the last minute.
Basically, you can wait to the last moment because we also have an answer from that. We have a waiting list. This happens all the time. So, but the waiting list is something like I will be not recommended, and we don't like it. You don't going to like it, because it's you're on waiting list and hold on from somewhere far away, and you want to know, do you go or not?
Yeah.
And we cannot be, and even if we can allow you, we cannot allow you in this moment because we're waiting that somebody get out or whatever reason, and then we can put you in. So the only thing to avoid that is really plan ahead, and because at the end of the day, you don't losing your description. If you pull it out, you're still getting your payments feedback on 100%. So
right. So if people have questions, and I'm just typing this in to reach Goran with your questions, email. What's your email address?
Actually the direct email that we're using, can I tip it somewhere for you? Let me see, where is that?
Is it the proglobus@live.nl?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
I've got it.
Okay,
so I just am typing that in the comments as well. So those of you watching, if you want more information.
You can also put it, but those days, out experience, it's many of them using the WhatsApp messages, by example.
Oh yeah.
So which we have a special number. I can give it to you, so that that number will be using for WhatsApp messages.
Okay. Yeah. Why don't you give me that and I'll type it in.
Yeah, that will be from your end. It will be +31.
+31. Yep.
6 22
Uh-huh.
11
Uh-huh.
88
Uh-huh.
57.
Got it.
So this is the telephone number that we're using for WhatsApp, but the same from Chinese from WeChat, same for Russian from that all kind of Viber, you name it, all kind of things. What is there?
Okay, awesome. So those of you watching, I've typed in the comments the website to reach Goran via email or via WhatsApp. And so take a look at that if you're planning travel internationally. Also, if you want to play their events in Florida, right? Are there any other U.S. sites besides Florida right now?
Well, we have in the moment Florida. It's the most interesting. However, we have some certain discussions with the guys from California.
Nice.
And from your place.
Southern.
Actually, today I discussed it with Newport Beach.
Oh, right up the road from me. Perfect.
Yeah. No. So most likely we're going to have the one or two of them as well in 21. But we're just discussing the dates, and because dates is always the headaches when you have, like we have in a moment 16 tournaments in all continents, then it's like then is a day it's always different, and especially when
And in
you
a
already have.
pandemic.
No, especially in pandemic. But can you imagine? We are actually so full that we are planning now 2022. So
Wow.
try to plan 22 when a pandemic conditions is like impossible. But we try, and we will hope. Really, is a big chance that we go to the guys from California space, let's say, and from there. And besides that, we are for sure in the 2 in a row in Florida. That will be two biggest one in states actually. It's IMG Academy in Bradenton, and Sanchez Casal Academy in the Naples.
Nice. Nice. All right. Well, I hope you'll keep me posted on what's happening with the one in
I
Newport
will.
Beach. If it's
I
there,
will.
I will be there too, and covering that for Parenting Aces because, like I said,
For
it's
sure.
right up the road for me. Is there anything else, Goran, that I've neglected to ask you that you want our viewers to know about 10 Pro Global Junior Tour?
Not really, because I think you mentioned many of the features what we're doing differently than the rest, and this is the very important. Maybe to just recapture it a few things. What is the base of the whole story? Base of the whole story is tracking and trade and give the possibility of youngest players in this age to face the best players from different parts of the world. The second part is that you getting the chance to have the guaranteed number of matches and everything to plan it to make your budget and financial and everything in a way ahead and playable and payable as well. And then is different things. Then is a coaching on court. There is a parents experience. There's all this combining by together. It's make the small Grand Slam actually make the 10 Pro.
That's awesome. Well, Goran, thank you so much for joining us on the live stream here. It's been a pleasure meeting you and speaking with you. And like I said, I've only known about you since 2017 when I had Johan Creek on my podcast to discuss his event in partnership with you guys. So I'm glad to learn more and glad to see that you're continuing to grow and thrive these events. It's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you, Lisa, to having me in here. And anytime, it will be my pleasure to explain you more or give you more information. By the way, say hi to Johan when you see him. And he's like one of the amazing guys, one of the Grand Slams winners when we are playing. And he will be definitely explain you the stories about coaching the parents and everybody else, which we had in his place in West Palm Beach. Actually, was that.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for having the time. In any time in the future when you know how to find me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your Sunday. And for those of you watching, thank you so much. Just a quick reminder that tomorrow I am going to be presenting as part of the virtual tennis symposium. If you go to the events tab on our Facebook page, you'll see the link for that. It is free. I'm presenting at 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow on the parent coach player triangle and bridging the gap there. And I'm very excited about that. But there's some incredible presentations all week long happening as part of that event. And then next week, I am going to be working with LRT Sports, and we're doing a webinar for parents on recruiting during the pandemic. So I hope you'll check our events tab and join us for one or both of those. Again, Goran, thank you, and it's been a pleasure, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.